So, my top 5 independent fragrances for women. At number 5, we have Laras Yellow Rose. Now, this is an all-natural rose fragrance, which is so rare to find, and it's really beautiful. For me, this is a very citrusy and natural smelling rose, and I just find it to be so evocative of the real thing. I'm not sure about all of you, but I find rose to be one of the most varying fragrance categories. For me, growing up, the rose that I had in my head was kind of a tea rose, this very citrusy, fresh rose. And sometimes you'll get very earthy roses in perfumery, very dark roses, very jammy rose. But this to me is just a true rose that you'll have in your backyard. It's so lush, but so fresh at the same time. And it's just the real deal. And it's still, even though it's a very fresh rose, there's definitely still some opulence there. And that's what I love about this fragrance. Now, I would say the longevity and projection here is moderate. I get about 2 to 3 hours of wear from this fragrance, and that's pretty much always going to be the case with natural fragrances. At the same time though, this fragrance is refreshing enough where you really don't mind applying it all day. And I still find the projection and longevity to be okay at the 3-hour mark. So maybe let's say 3.5 hours, which I think is not bad. Like, that's really not my issue with this fragrance. It's my issue with a lot of natural fragrances because sometimes they're really only lasting like 30 minutes. But here I'd say it's pretty moderate and definitely worth checking out. Next on my list, we have Maurice Azmari, and I love this fragrance as like the ultimate layer. So it's a hair perfume, but you can totally spray it on your body. It's a glycerin humectant base, and I can't say I completely understand that type of base. It's not one that I'm super familiar with, but I am very familiar with this fragrance. I have a bottle of it, and it feels fine on the skin. It's not sticky at all. It takes slightly longer to evaporate off your skin than alcohol, but I would say like it's evaporated within a minute. And because it's a glycerin humectant base as opposed to an alcohol base, it clings to skin and hair kind of forever. I mean, like, I get a solid 8 hours of wear on this fragrance. And the projection is like moderate to strong the first 4 hours, and then just goes down to like normal, moderate the rest of the wear. I don't know if it's because I do spray this fragrance in my hair a lot, but it'll be lingering there maybe at a lower level until I wash it off, basically. But it smells delicious. It's a slightly spiced rice pudding type of fragrance to me. That's kind of what the smell I get. So there's like vanilla notes and some light spices. But I find this fragrance to be so delicious. And my favorite thing to do with this fragrance is to layer it with something darker. So if you have kind of like something more woody or ambery in your fragrance collection, I love to spray Maurice Azmari in my hair and then this fragrance on my body. But I basically do that with like any fragrance. That's what I love about this fragrance, is that it melds so well with so many different types of fragrances, and it just gives you a little extra oomph, and it also just gets a lot of compliments. It's a great, great fragrance. Number 3 is a fragrance I've talked about quite a bit on this channel, and it's Unknown Pleasures by Kerosene, which is another huge compliment getter and just a huge fragrance. So again, I used to work at Tiger Lily, now Ministry of Scent, and I think it would be really hard for me to get compliments on my fragrances just because the store had a fairly strong smell of all the different perfumes. And this is one of the few fragrances that I would get compliments on while working. Like, people would walk in and people usually go, "Oh, it smells so good in here," because it's a perfume store, of course. But with this one, people would identify it's me that smelled good. So I think that's wild. It just shows how strong this fragrance is, but also that just how good it smells. And so this fragrance is a blend of vanilla, bergamot, and waffle cone accord, and it's just delicious. The freshness of the bergamot and lemon, with the creaminess of the vanilla and the gooiness of the waffle cone just pair beautifully together, and it's a great fragrance. Number 2 on my list is a fragrance called Laromatica, which is actually by the same perfumer as Laro. And I love this fragrance because it's mixed media. So there's a mixture of synthetics and naturals. The Laro kind of offshoot of the brand Laromatica is 100% natural. This fragrance is mixed media, but I think it really shows the beauty of mixed fragrances when you have naturals mixed with synthetics. And so this fragrance, I'm not sure if I said the name, is Kulfi by Laromatica, and it's inspired by the Indian dessert. And so it's a mix of vanilla, rose, cardamom, and pistachio, and it's incredible. It's just the mix of the floralcy, the kind of nutty saffronness of the pistachio accord, and then the vanilla. It's perfection, and you have to smell this fragrance. Again, this is one of those where I would say the wear I have on this is moderate, but it does come in a roll-on, and so what I love about that is I can often reapply it. Last on this list, we have Tobacco Rose by Papillon Artisan Perfumes, and this fragrance is a tobacco and a rose, but done so elegantly. If you're not into super jammy or dark scents, or you want something dark but refined, I think Tobacco Rose will be right up your alley. It's pretty unisex, but something about the rosiness of it still gives it a touch of femininity to me. In fact, I don't think I mentioned this on my men's list, but I just love this fragrance on women because of the edginess of the tobacco paired with the beautiful floralcy of the rose. And if that's something that kind of entices you, if you like those types of notes in perfumery, you have to try this one. I would say, while tobacco normally is like a sexy note for me here, and it's usually not super refined, I find, here it's super refined. You could wear this fragrance on a date, but also in the office, and I really love the versatility of this fragrance. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please let me know if you've tried indie fragrances, and if so, what your favorite indie fragrance is. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone.